The 2024 NBA MVP race has been wildly disputed over the past couple of weeks, and in the eyes of most people, there are 5 players in contention for this award. But in my opinion, it's pretty easily only 4. Sorry, Jason Tatum. I have set out to make a case for these top 4 options, and this is the final video of that series. Over the past week, we have explored the cases of SGA for MVP, Nikola Jokic, and Luka Doncic. And today we dive into a player that, in my opinion, is not getting enough love. This is the overlooked case of Giannis for MVP. Giannis is currently averaging 30.7 points per game, 11.2 rebounds, and 6.3 assists. But he's also doing so on a career high 61.8% from the field and a 63.2% effective field goal percentage. 6.3 assists is his career high also, and it got me thinking, so I used StatHead to see how many players in NBA history have averaged 30, 10, and 6. It's only happened 3 times in NBA history besides Giannis this season: Oscar Robertson in 1961 and 1962, and then Russell Westbrook in 2017 when he won his MVP. But if you take a look, Giannis is shooting so much better from the field than either of them did in those seasons. Like I stated earlier, Giannis is shooting 61.8% from the field, which is a 65.7% true shooting percentage. Oscar shot 47.8 from the field, 55.4 true shooting, and 47.3 and 55.5 true shooting in his 2 seasons he did this. And Russell Westbrook shot 42.5% from the field with a 55.4 true shooting percentage. And then I was just curious to see how many 30 points per game scorers in NBA history there have been on over 60% from the field. What I wasn't expecting to find is that nobody has ever done that except for Giannis this season. But then I thought to myself, with the 3-point boom of the 2010s, let's take true shooting instead. So then we took every 30 point per game scorer on 65% true shooting or above. And it's happened only 5 other times in NBA history. Stephen Curry in 2016, when he won his MVP, scored 30.1 points per game on 66.9 true shooting, which is honestly insane to think about because he shot 45% from 3 that year on 11 attempts a game. Joel Embiid last season when he won his MVP, Steph Curry again in 2021, and then Adrian Dantley twice in 1983 and 1984. That's some pretty elite company to be in for a player that is 4th in MVP odds by quite a large measure. I then decided to take a look at Giannis's 2 MVP seasons in 2019 and 2020 just to see how this season stacks up compared to those. In 2019, he averaged 27, 12.5, almost 6 assists on 57.8 from the field and 64.4 true shooting. And in 2020, he averaged 29.5 on 13.6, 5.5 assists on 55.3% from the field, 61.3 true shooting. So when we compare those numbers to this season, he is shooting remarkably more efficient from the field in this season than his 2 MVP seasons. But Giannis is not competing versus his 2019 self or his 2020 self for MVP. He's competing against Nikola Jokic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Luka Doncic. Plus, what the box score doesn't tell us is that Giannis won Defensive Player of the Year in 2020, and he was first team all defense in 2021. So we also have to prove that his defense is just as good as those years. So what is it that gives Giannis a better case than his competitors? Well, for one, there is an argument that his offensive numbers are more impressive. He easily has the best true shooting percentage and effective field goal percentage out of this list, and he has the 3rd best rim field goal percentage in the entire NBA at 78% on 690 attempts. Only Derek Lively and Kevin Durant are ahead of him in percentage, but they have only about a 5th of the attempts that Giannis does. He also has been a very efficient scorer this season, being 8th in the NBA in points per shot attempt, which beats out his fellow competitors as well. He's 2nd behind only Jokic in team effective field goal percentage, with him on versus off the court at plus 4.1%, which is good for 13th in the NBA. And he's also 2nd behind only Jokic in on-off plus minus on this list, which is good for 6th in the entire NBA as well. According to cleaningtheglass.com, the Bucks play like a 58-win team with him on the court and a 27-win team with him off. If we then take a look at the 3 gold standard all-in-one metrics, Giannis is better than anyone according to EPM on this list besides SGA. In LeBron, he clears everyone besides Jokic, and in Darko, he's 2nd behind only Jokic as well. So at this point in the video, it's pretty clear that Giannis has been having an insanely incredible offensive season, but so have the other three in Luka, SGA, and Jokic. I'm willing to rule Luka out at this point just because I think we've proven all four of them are incredible on offense, but Luka just has zero case when it comes to defense and team winning, which leaves us with a three-horse race between Giannis, SGA, and Jokic. So how do we make a case that Giannis can be the MVP over SGA and over Jokic? We have to prove that Giannis is a tier above on defense this season. If we can do that, he has a chance. NBA.com tracks something that I think is super cool, and it's called defended field goal percentage. Giannis's defended field goal percentage is 46.5, and if we take his field goal percentage defended at the rim, it's 55.8%. When we compare these numbers to Jokic's defended field goal percentage is 50.8, and his defended at the rim is 63.6. That's a notch in Giannis's belt for defense. And then when it comes to estimated plus minus on dunksandthrees.com, Giannis is ranked in the 91st percentile in defense, while Jokic is ranked in the 40th. And although Dunks and Threes loves Shea's defense, ranking him in the 97th percentile, Darko absolutely hates it. Darko has SGA in like the 25th percentile at 0 defensive daily plus minus. But the hard thing about defense is at the end of the day, it really comes down to the eye test. And I don't think Jokic is a bad defender. I think he's actually heavily underrated. I think Shea isn't necessarily going to be someone to lock down the best player on the other team, but he's an incredible free safety, and he's always getting steals, and he's always putting himself in a position to make a play. While I still think Giannis is probably the best defender out of this roster, I just don't think he's required to do as much with such a good defensive anchor and rim protector in Brook Lopez right behind him. But either way, there's one last thing Giannis and the Bucks will have to do if they want to make a case for Giannis for MVP. They have to finish second in the Eastern Conference. Right now, the Cavs are just half a game back, and the Bucks have only 16 games left in their regular season. They're probably going to have to go 13-3 or 12-4 over this final 16, giving them 54 to 55 total wins. But they're going to need help from the Timberwolves, who are going to have to hold on to the #1 seed in the Western Conference. Ideally, the Bucks somehow finish ahead of both the Thunder and the Nuggets, because as of now, it is an outside chance that he wins MVP. If I'm being 100% honest, with this being the last of my MVP series videos, this is just a bad year to have an incredible season. I feel for Luka, I feel for Giannis, but I just don't see this being anything more than a two-horse race at this point between Jokic and SGA. Don't get me wrong, I just don't know how he gets it done. His field goal percentage has been absolutely unbelievable this season, and I am continually amazed at Giannis's relentless ability to get to the rim without much of a reliable outside shot. He's one of the greatest freaks of nature that the NBA has ever seen, who's having one of the best seasons of his career. And although he probably will not win MVP, he deserves way more recognition for what he's doing this season than he is currently getting. It really just feels like everybody is overlooking him and focusing on other things in the NBA, which is a shame because like we said in the beginning, this is a historic season that has never been done before at the field goal percentage he is shooting. If you enjoyed this video, check out my other 3 videos on the case for SGA, Jokic, and Luka for MVP. What do you think? What are the voters thinking right now? Are they going to shock us like in other recent years and go with somebody who wasn't the betting favorite or second favorite? Or does Jokic already have this MVP race in the bag like the betting odds say? Thanks for watching, and as always, we'll see ya on the hardwood.